Comiket was a match made in heaven for her. But the trip there ended up being more like the 7th layer of hell. She took a plane from Austria to Japan, and when she landed, she let her fans know that she was at the airport, and if anyone was there, she'd love to meet them. As Kikihime got off the plane and was in the airport, 2 fans met up with her, took pictures, had nice conversations. It was overall a great time. But then, as they were leaving, she saw a 3rd fan in the distance. And this time, it was a familiar face. The same person who had spammed her on all her social media accounts, who had sent her countless emails, and who wouldn't let her go even when she went to Austria. Someone she hoped she'd never have to see again. Her stalker. Immediately, without any second thought, she took her baggage with her and walked in the opposite direction of where he was coming from. She kept walking and walking, going up the escalator, down the escalator, one side of the airport to the other side of the airport. He kept following her and he wasn't even trying to hide it. At this point, she was getting desperate, and who wouldn't be? She needed to get on a train to leave the airport and go to where she wants to go. But she didn't want him to know which train she's taking so that he can follow her there too, potentially to where she's staying. Kikihime knew that this guy was not going to stop following her no matter what, so she went to the police station in the airport to hopefully scare him off. But even as she was speaking to 2 police officers at the front of the station, he still did not stop and was still heading towards her as she was speaking to the officers. But thankfully, since she speaks fluent Japanese, the officers understood what she meant immediately, and they separated both of them in 2 different rooms at the station. Now, at this point, she finally got a moment of peace. She was safe. And while she was hoping that she was going to feel safe even after leaving the station, she was about to face a very grim reality. We only know what happened from her point of view, of course, since the stalker hasn't really told us his side of the story. But the police essentially said, hey, listen, we understand this sucks, but our advice is that you just don't go to Comiket. And of course, she was shocked. She was like, wait, what? That's the solution for me to get screwed over? Can't you do anything? And the police said, no, he didn't actually commit a crime. And until he does, we can't do anything. This was Kikihime's first experience with the Japanese police, and it was disappointing to say the least. She wasn't going to let the stalker win. So she told the police, you know what? I'm gonna go to Comiket anyway. She left to go take her train while the stalker was still at the police station before he was released too. So thankfully she was able to take her train without him following her, but her concern was that he was going to show up at Comiket. A day passes and before you know it, she is at Comiket walking around the expo. She put on her costume, was getting her pictures taken by photographers, talking to fans, but of course a part of her was nervous over the fact that the stalker knew she was there. Then suddenly, 2 police officers she'd never met before came up to her. It turns out that the officers from the airport had sent these 2 people to check up on her. But the only description they gave them was that she was a foreigner, so they just walked around the whole expo and found her. She appreciated that. And you know what? It turned out that the stalker had not come to the expo. It seemed like he was spooked from the incident at the airport. This made her hopeful, thinking that, you know what, he probably got scared. Now that he saw the police in action, he would never dare to do this again. I wish that she was right, but of course, it was wrong. He wouldn't stop there. Around 2 years passed by since the airport incident, and this time we're in the Tokyo Game Show and Kikihime is cosplaying as usual. She would, as always, meet up with fans and photographers. At some point, one of these photographers was taking pictures of her, and as she was posing, she noticed, out of the corner of her eye, someone she never wanted to see again looking at her straight from the crowd. Her stalker. At this point, she was nervous, and why wouldn't she be? She still tried her best to pose for the picture though, and as the photographer was checking to see if the pictures turned out well, the stalker slowly walked towards her and kept getting closer and closer to her. She froze in place, not knowing what to do, and before she could even think, he lunged at her and went for the kiss. Thankfully at that point, she reacted very quickly, dodged it, and kicked him. According to her, after the kick, he was very shocked. He had a look on his face that confirmed pretty much to 100% accuracy that he was fully expecting her to reciprocate. He genuinely thought in his own delusions that she was going to kiss him back. The kick left him so shocked that he ended up leaving her alone, thankfully, but she pretty much too proud. One posing, she noticed and this dare to do this again. What he spooked from the incident at the airport. This made her hopeful, thinking that, you know what, he probably got scared. Now that he saw the police in action, he would never dare to do this again. I wish that she was right, but of course, it was wrong. He wouldn't stop there. Around 2 years passed by since the airport incident, and this time we're in the Tokyo Game Show, and Kikihime is cosplaying as usual. She would, as always, meet up with fans and photographers. At some point, one of these photographers was taking pictures of her, and as she was posing, she noticed, out of the corner of her eye, someone she never wanted to see again looking at her straight from the crowd. Her stalker. At this point, she was nervous, and why wouldn't she be? She still tried her best to pose for the picture though, and as the photographer was checking to see if the pictures turned out well, the stalker slowly walked towards her and kept getting closer and closer to her. She froze in place.
We've recently received complaints about speeding drivers. Could you pay special attention to them?
I'll be on the lookout.
Went for the kiss.
We have a situation that needs to be taken care of. Is anyone available?
Dodged it and kicked him. According to her, after the kick, he was very shocked. He had a look on his face that confirmed pretty much to 100% accuracy that he was fully expecting her to reciprocate.
This is Patrol 4561. I can take that.
That she was going to kiss him back. The kick left him so shocked that he ended up letting her walk when she was still very marked. At this point, you see the same person over and over. That person keeps sending you weird emails, even when you're in Austria, outside Japan.
We have an emergency.
I'm on my way.
Who's available?
Trust anyone again. You never want to get out of your house. It's rough. A year passes by. Kikihime had unfortunately left Japan during that year, when your visa hoping to do cosplays and attend more events, but unfortunately, since it was the pandemic, cosplay events for over 18 months. She ended up going back to Austria without first event, she could finally go.
I've arrived on site. I'll start cleaning up the accident.
Excited because it's been a very long time since she even went to Japan to do this. She talked about it on Twitter, how she's about to go and is preparing for the very hot weather, and even teased the character she was going to cosplay. This was her in the event, and in this tweet she says, "Finish changing, I'll go die on rooftop." Speaking of the rooftop in Comiket, this is one of the most iconic places to take pictures in cosplays. If you've watched any animes that relate to cosplay, you have seen something similar to this. It gets crowded very quickly, and for Summer Comiket 2024, they had guidelines in place. They had designated many different zones separated by barriers that cosplayers could go into, take their pictures, and leave without blocking traffic. This is exactly what Kikihime would do. She would get on the rooftop in the morning, took some pictures, and then went back down. At that point, though, she was being contacted by many photographers and fans that she hadn't seen in a very long time, so the rooftop made the most sense to her. So even though it was really hot, she made this tweet right here saying, "Little break."
Hello, officer.
Go again maybe in 1 hour, letting everyone know that she'll be there.
Hello.
As you can see, this is her on the rooftop with a photographer taking pictures of her, and she has her little signature suitcase with a sign linking her social.
Can you tell me what you saw?
I'm still recovering.
This is the queue of all the
Kindly
photographers
cooperate as I collect a
associated.
sample to see if you're...
At this point, she was still not in the designated areas. She headed there next, and while she thought the only concerns for the day
Please allow me to...
heat, she was dead wrong, as she ended up being extremely marked and confused, as well as the hundreds of people around her attending.
Would you please show me...
What happened?
Sure. Here you go, officer.
And got into her designated area. As you can see, there's a barrier separating her from the rest of the crowd. A familiar man that had been haunting her for over 10 years showed up right
I have to search you.
just posed in this area. The photographer had just barely pulled out his camera ready to take the first picture. This is when her stalker would jump the barrier behind her. She felt this happen and thought to herself, wow, this person must be in a hurry if they had to jump a barrier like that. But she was too focused on posing for the camera. And then before she knew it, I mean, she can barely recall this, she was grabbed from the back, squeezing across her entire body. Her stalker had effectively jumped on her. He is significantly bigger than her stalker from, and before she knew it, I mean, she can barely recall this. She was grabbed from the back, tightly squeezing across her entire body. Her stalker had effectively jumped on her.
I'll just
He
need...
is significantly bigger than her and had her completely trapped in his arms. What's even more creepy and disgusting about this picture is that you can see him clearly grinning,
All right.
probably enjoying this.
Influence of alcohol.
Absolutely caught by surprise here and was screaming her lungs out. She said she was
Let me...
I'm still...
that the people 200 meters away from her could hear her. This was her worst fear come true. According to her, it felt like an eternity, but he ended up holding her maybe for around a full 10 seconds. Eyewitnesses around her report that they were also very confused, thinking, "Wait, is this a friend of hers? Like, what's going on?"
Driver's license.
10 seconds passed, they understood. Oh no, like she's screaming
Yeah,
her lungs
sure,
out.
officer.
This is not normal. They attempted to wrestle him off of her, right? He was holding her so tight, multiple people had to wrestle him off of her because he wouldn't let go. And at that point, she was
Put your hand-
hyperventilating, tearing up, crying. She was practically having a panic attack. This is a recording of the aftermath. After he had groped her the way he did, this is what happens. Watch, then I'll explain. So at this point, people are confused. They're questioning him, like, yo, what's going on right now? And she tells everyone that, hey, this is my stalker. He's been doing this for years. And this guy has the gall to act shocked. He says things like, but I've been emailing you. I've been sending you messages all the time. I'm just a very big fan. We know each other. Making himself out to be innocent. Like he's shocked that she would react this way. People could tell things were getting serious, so they cleared up the...
Let me hear what you saw.
I'm shocked, officer.
After this incident, Kiki
You'll take-
ended up tweeting this, saying, "By the way, I'm done for the day with photos. Thanks for coming. I got assaulted by an old stalker and had a panic attack in front of hundreds of people, so honestly,
Okay,
I feel
let's-
disgusting and I don't know what to think. I will, unless it's illegal, release a photo of his face later with more details." Someone, of course, a smartass on Twitter,
I'd like to
we
see-
love those, says, "Recommend filing a police report.
Here you
Take
go.
care," as if she didn't try doing that before, right? And then she says, "I talked to the police. They said I gotta go to the embassy." So that's exactly what happened, according to her. She made a Twitter space, 55 minutes long, in which she explained everything from start
Please
to
go
finish.
up.
And it's the main source that was used for this entire thing. She details how the staff of Comikit were fairly supportive, but when she said she wanted to call the police, they said you have to do that outside the expo. She definitely wanted to talk to the police about this because she quite literally got assaulted. But
ID?
she opted to finish taking pictures with a photographer she hadn't seen
Here you
for
go,
years
officer.
first before talking to the police. She said the police officer she spoke to was very understanding and very nice to her, but pretty much told her what she had said in her post. He said, "We can't do anything because you're not a resident of Japan."
I'll just...
Oh,
To her embassy,
thank
to the
you.
Austrian embassy, to report this. That way, when and if it happens again, she can go to the police and say, "Hey, this happened," and my embassy can confirm that I already reported it once before. Very weird, wouldn't you say? Article 200 Act number 45 of 1907 clearly states when a person assaults another person without injuring the other person, which is exactly what happened. This was assault in every way. The person is punished by imprisonment for not more than 2 years, a fine of not more than
This is your-
penal detention or a petty fine. At the airport,
It's
when
fine.
they had put them both in different rooms, they had taken his information. Now this has happened again. Some people theorize that police is just too lazy to do their jobs. You know,
I have a car here that needs
the
towing.
more this
Please send a
happens
tow
them,
truck
the
to my
more
current
they
location.
understand why this is the dark side of Japan.
The wrecker has already
Here's
been
your ad-
That'll be
dispatched
very-
to your
It's
location.
really in the country because there are practically no consequences.
All right.
That's why the internet, more specifically the Japanese government, has decided to take this into their own hands. Now,
Here's your...
That will be very helpful.
they found
Thank
the
you, officer.
stalker's Twitter profile on the same
Everything's fine.
day. His original Twitter account was Phoenix Rick, but it doesn't exist anymore because he changed his name immediately to Phoenix. He also privated his account. People are on.
I've got a vehicle here for towing. Can you send a tow truck to my current location? I've got a vehicle here for towing. Can you send a tow truck to my current location?
Rick, they're finding
Hey there.
Sure, it'll be with you shortly.
This post right here found out more about him, saying, according to a certain source, the stalker of Kikihime at Komiket, or rather the person who sexually assaulted him, was a man known as Rick, who was famous for making appearances in darkness.
I have a situation that needs taking care of. Anybody available?
As you can see, he's right here. With the hair. So overall, he's a productive member of society, as you might guess from the obsessive stalker like this. Kikihime ended all this by saying,
This is Patrol 4561 taking care of the accident.
tweeted the next day that she felt very dead inside, mentioning how her cat sitter sent her a video of her cats and that she misses them so dearly, wanting to go back home just to see them. And was asked by a fan, hey, would it be possible to make an emergency trip back home even for a day or two? And then she said, absolutely.
Officer help requested
Leave
for
it
an
to me.
emergency. Please respond.
Fast. So this not only ruined her day at Komiket, but might have just ruined her entire Japan trip. It definitely serves to highlight not just the dangers of content creation due to stalkers, but also highlights due to not only aspects of the culture that encourage it, but the fact that the police don't seem to take it seriously.
I heard this news also for the next call.
So,
Soldiers are trapped in the
best, I hope she never has to deal with this stalker or any other stalker. Still acknowledge that this is the minority of people in
I heard this news also for the next call.
Stay safe. Thank you so much.
I've arrived at the scene.
Self-dispatch of 4 of 5.
Stolen traffic. Returning.
Can you tell me what you saw?
I don't understand what happened, officer.
Kindly cooperate as I collect a sample to see if you're drunk. Please allow me to collect a sample to see if you're under the influence of any drugs. I have to search. I'd like to see your driver's license and car insurance, please.
Yes, officer.
You have a gun.
You're under arrest for driving
No, don't! Please, officer!
Tell me what you
I didn't see anything.
Tell me what you saw.
Sorry, officer. I was in.
I've got an Please take.
Oh, wow.
I need some backup here to take a suspect into custody.
Understood. We're sending the closest transport to your location.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Can you hear me?
It hurts, but I think I'm fine.
Okay, good. Can you walk on your own and come with these cams further down?
Can you?
I would.
All right. Here's your app.
There's nothing in this report. I need you to be cooperative and follow me to the patrol car. I have no choice.
You're.
No, don't.
I need back.
Yeah, but I feel dizzy.
Understood. The closest available unit will be dispatched to your location.
Sure, Doc. Fine.
Please. Let me hear what you saw.
I'm still in
You'll take a test to see. ID.
Here you go.
Okay.
Here's.
Have a nice. You're good to go. Drive safe and have a nice day.
The shift is long over. I didn't know that.
I have a vehicle here that needs towing. I need a wrecker at my current location, please.
You told me it was
Sure. The wrecker is en route to your location.
I have a car here that needs towing. Please send a tow truck to my current location.
The tow truck will be at your location as soon as possible.
Here's your.
Oh, well done.
You can leave now. Have a great day. I have a car here that needs towing. Please send a tow truck to my current location.
A wrecker will be there in a couple of minutes. Sup?
Hey there.
Oh yeah.
Hey there.
Your shift is long over. Return back to the precinct. Now.
I don't know. Oh, my back. That was a fast day. What the heck? I'm really confused what happened there. I thought I put 60 minutes. It's been only...
While studying business, one thing that you're taught is the blue ocean strategy. The seemingly endless blue ocean represents a market that's never been taken advantage of. Its counterpart is the red ocean, a market that has way too many competitors and is a headache to penetrate. One of the best examples of the blue ocean strategy is what Tesla did with EVs. They seemingly created the market from thin air, and then other competitors came in to try and get a piece of that pie. So now, of course, the EV market is a red ocean market, no longer a blue ocean one. For a while, people assumed that gacha games were a red ocean market. I mean, why wouldn't it be? The narrative was established. Gacha games targeted a very specific demographic, and that demographic wanted to spend an insane amount of money on very hot women. But recently, we've come to find out that not only was this incorrect, it actually couldn't have been further from the truth. Infold came in and made us truly understand that the gacha game industry wasn't really a red ocean market just yet. There was still potential to create a blue ocean market, and that's exactly what they did with their games. Instead of targeting the well-known male demographic that wanted to collect wives and spend way too much money on them, they targeted the female market, who really liked the idea of having hot male husbands and spending way too much money on them. But targeting the female demographic didn't just end there. Infold saw very lucrative opportunities that other studios were not taking advantage of and proceeded to release their newest title, Infinity Nikki, which was a gacha game, but at its core was a dress-up game. It was an open world game with the goal of dressing up your character in different outfits that you loved, and they were onto something. When the game released, it received immediate success, reaching 10 million downloads on all platforms, PC, mobile, and even PS5. This is extremely impressive even for a free-to-play game. It's ridiculous. It truly showed that there was a demographic in gacha games that was ignored for years, and Infold was finally able to give them what they wanted. So how the hell did they manage to go from a rating of 4.2 stars out of 5 on release when it came to the Google Play Store to now finding themselves at 1.8? With their other games like Levin Deep Space also being affected by the crossfire, sitting at 3.3 stars out of 5 on the Google Play Store, as opposed to 4.2 just a couple of months prior. And let's not forget the fact that Infinity Nikki released on Steam and is now sitting at a mostly negative review. How could such a successful game that truly created a new segment in gacha, a genre that's existed for over a decade, fall from grace so quickly and so violently? Well, there are actually many reasons, and we're going to go over them together.
The crime rate in this area has been rising recently. Get out there and show some police presence.
Copy that.
Rainbow. Finding a gacha game that doesn't have a 50-50 system. You just get the character you want. Isn't that crazy? After player feedback, this is exactly what Area Restart did during
Assistance
the
required.
This game didn't
Is an
reinvent the
officer
wheel. They took
available?
something that already works, which is turn-based combat, and added their own twists to it. You have some really cool sci-fi looking characters and a lot of interesting synergies, not to mention a lot of cool animations too. But the twists don't end in the combat, no, they stretch all the way to the summon.
This is Patrol 4561. I'll handle the accident.
60, which is the gacha standard. It's already way cheap. Not to mention that when you start the game, you get a targeted summon, which lets you get any of the SSR characters on release in just 4 gold. You proceed to build these characters, getting them to full and upgrading their stats, all in
Officer
preparation
help
to either
requested for an
join
emergency.
I'll take care of
Please
this.
respond.
Joining the global invitation tournament. You see, this game has PvP, but not the kind of PvP you're
used to in gacha games, this isn't pay to win. It really all comes down to players' skill. And you know what the best part of this is? This game is already out. It came out on June 5th, 2025. So if you're interested, make sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment and download the game today. Thank you so much, Adira Restart, for sponsoring this video. Alright, so Infold has actually been around for over a decade now. The first game they ever released was in 2012. It was called Nikki Up to You. It was the first entry in a series of Nikki.
I've arrived at the scene of the
dress-up
accident.
game, although still not very well known at the time. Now, to be clear, the main developer for these games has always been PayPal. This game is already out. It came out on Alright, so Infold has actually been around for over a decade now. The first game they've ever released was in 2012, and it was called Nikki Up to You. It was the first entry in the series of Nikki, and it was also a dress-up game, although still not very well known at the time. Now, to be clear, the main developer for these games has always been Paper Games, a Chinese game.
Can you describe what you saw?
First I heard a crack.
Infold, their new international
I have a
brand.
person who's been injured,
2024 was
requesting
a
an
very
ambulance.
Big year for Infold because they released 2 titles that truly revolutionized gacha. One of those games is, of course, Love in Deep Space. This game truly showed us, once and for all, that females are not only as horny as men when it comes
Let me know.
to
I don't understand.
but they make men look like rookies in comparison. Listen, bro, I'm not making this up, okay? Once upon a time, I streamed this game, and let me tell you, dude, you literally get pounded. Like, literally. Like, I'm not even joking. There are cutscenes where you're getting pounded.
I'm just taking a sample to see if you've been drinking and driving.
Next level, and guess what? It made more money than we could have ever imagined. Ever since its release, it has been consistently
I need to see your...
in the top 3 biggest revenue generators in the entire gacha space. Look at this. It's making over $50 million a month, sometimes making $90 million, making games like
Let me
Genshin
see.
Impact.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
I'm still in
sorry,
shock,
whatever
but
else.
I'm
Look
all right.
like anime.
More shocked than
You
hurt.
understand?
Can you make it to
Things
the
were
ambulance
clear
on your
as day.
own?
There
We need
was
to
a
take a closer look.
market for these
Okay,
games,
Doc.
and they
I can manage, I
wanted
think.
more. Now look, when it comes to success in life, it's a combination of hard work and luck. In 2024, the Roblox game Dress to Impress was absolutely blowing up, and people, whether it be male or female, were having a lot of fun dressing up their character in this goofy-ass game. All of a sudden, dress-up games became very mainstream. So of course, when Infinity Nikki launched in December 2024, the idea of a dress-up game went from niche to mainstream, and people were very excited about it, resulting in its massive success. Yes, even though their website got hacked with this wonderful, wholesome message telling people to evaporate their soul out of their body, it still managed to do great. I mean, this was it. A cute, wholesome game in which you could just sit there and make up these awesome outfits in an open world setting, and hey, it's free! What else is there to ask for? And the gacha aspect of this game wasn't related to characters, it was related to outfits, or at least outfits.
I have to...
Please,
These
officer.
are some of the outfits that you could earn through gacha pulls. The community absolutely fell in love with them. And speaking of community, they quickly took on the reputation of being wholesome and generous. Their positivity was seen as a beacon of hope in the midst of all the gacha drama that goes on.
I have a vehicle here that needs towing. I need a wrecker at my current location, please.
It was hard to think that anything could
That's
go
not a
wrong.
location that's
Infold
easy to
was on
reach.
a roll until
Time, but we'll take care of it in the next 24
A lot of
hours.
players, the revenue wasn't really reflecting its success. From December 2024 to January 2025, it made 50% of its revenue both in the Chinese markets and in the Western markets combined. This downwards trend would continue from January to February and wouldn't really recover by March. It certainly wasn't making as much revenue as a game like Love in Deep Space, and red flags started popping up until a nuclear eruption took place. Steam is easily one of the best reasons to ever become a PC gamer. Valve has proven time and time again that they are the only people to be trusted running a platform like this. There's a reason why it has so many people using it every single day. So of course, getting your game on this platform is a big deal because not everyone is willing to download your custom launcher. There are many PC gamers who prefer to have everything in their Steam library, and if it's not the case, it's a deal breaker. Seeing that revenue was on the downwards trend, Infinity Nikki was on the hunt for new players. So launching on Steam was an easy way to do it. Now look, usually paid games before releasing have pre-orders. That helps a company understand how much demand there is for the game, if the marketing is effective, and brings in some much needed cash before the game's release date. With gacha games though, seeing that they're free to play,
Alright, I'm just collecting a sample to check if you've had any alcohol while driving.
Pre-register, and if they meet pre-registration goals, as you can see here, you get rewards for each tier. Every single gacha game does this because it helps drive hype and anticipation
I'm just
of its release date. But there's no such thing as pre-registering on Steam. What there is, though, is the ability to wishlist a game you want to have. And you can do that for games that haven't released yet. So Infinity Nikki went ahead and set goals like they would in a pre-registration.
I have to
but
search you.
This time they'd be tied to the Steam wishlists. And as you can see, there was 4 different tiers here. The first one being 10,000 wishlists, and it gives you a live wallpaper. The second one being 50,000 wishlists.
License and
registration. The third one is 100,000 wishlists and gives you a bunch of resonance crystals. Now, what are resonance crystals? Well, this is the gacha currency you need to wish, or gamble, and get new outfit pieces. There are 2 types of banners that you can wish on in the game. The first one being a limited banner. This only comes in for like 2 to 3 weeks, and you need revelation crystals for it. The other banner is a permanent banner. It never leaves, and for this you need resonance crystals. So 100,000 wishlist was showing resonance crystals. Awesome. But the fourth and final goal, being at 200,000 wishlists, was the final surprise, showing a shape of a gacha currency. People assumed that this one would be the revelation crystal, what you need to pull on the limited banner, which is probably the most important currency in the game. This only made sense because 200,000 was double the last goal, and the last goal was going to give you resonite crystals anyway. So of course, seeing that this community is very awesome and tight-knit, they went ahead and wishlisted the hell out of this game on Steam, even though many of them already had the launcher. They reached 100,000, and then they managed to reach 200,000. But then they noticed something weird. The official Infinity Nikki account completely changed the image. It went from this, with the fourth and final image potentially looking like a revelation crystal, to
you're under a...
No, don't!
Like
please, officer!
So in the first image, the 100,000 wishlist goal had 11 resonite crystals in the chest. And people were assuming they were either going to get more resonite crystals on the fourth wishlist goal.
Tell me what you saw.
I'm still...
The image completely changed.
I'll take a sample to
Instead of
check
having
if you've taken...
11 resonite crystals in the third goal, they switched it to 2, which is exactly what they ended up getting. And then the final surprise, the 200,000 wishlist goal, contained a chest of 8 crystals. So in total, they got...
Put your hands up slowly, please. I'm going to search
you. They should have gotten 11 just for the third goal. People were obviously outraged here. Like, what? Why are you being so stingy over something so stupid? Like over 10 pulls? Really? It's as if they were giving away real crystals. Like, what the hell was going on? The post celebrating 200,000 wishlists on Steam from Infinity Nikki with this changed image.
Okay, officer. There you go.
None of them were really happy. And after sufficient community backlash, they finally quote-tweeted that tweet and said, you know what, guys? We're going to give you 10 revelation crystals. Thank you so much for being such amazing fans. This led many people to believe that they were hoping that the community wouldn't notice, but when they did, they ended up giving them the rewards they were meant to have in the first place.
Please cooperate
so look,
for a search procedure.
Like a small incident to you, but so far this game has been nothing but perfect. You have to understand that. This was the first instance in which they did something so weird, so scummy, and in which they played with their community's trust. But hey, listen, the community, as I said, is wholesome. They were willing to get past this and get back to the game they loved. Unfortunately, though, this was only the beginning for Infold's absolute roller coaster ride down to hell. So look, one thing you have to understand is that the release on Steam was going to coincide
Okay,
with
let's just check if you're under the influence of alcohol.
This had features the community was very excited about, like a co-op mode. Before this, you weren't really able to play with other players. Your world only had...
I just need to collect a sample to see if you're under the influence of any illegal substances.
Exploring the world together and showing off your outfits. Additionally, there was going to be a full-fledged dye system. Before this, each outfit had like...
Can you tell me what you...
I'm still... using the gacha mechanic. But here you had a seemingly endless amount of colors.
Here you go, officer.
Different palettes, capable of drastically changing any outfit you own. I can't really overstate just how excited the community was about dyeing. In fact, Infinity Nikki had hyped the hell out of it by releasing an event on World War 4 called Caring for the Bulkhead, or Bulkwit, or whatever. You can make fun of me in the comments for my spelling. This event had you collect different plants, fruits, and shellfish in the open world so that you can combine them in order to create different dyes. You then tested all those different dyes on the Bulkhead. Players loved this event, trying to figure out all the different combinations, and collected a gazillion of these materials in anticipation for the 1.5 update so that they can dye their outfits. April 28th was going to be the game's release date on Steam, and 1.5 would follow. This was going to be a new chapter in this game's history that would change everything. And it did indeed change everything, except everything for the worst, and players were completely blind.
Please cancel the tow truck. I repeat, cancel the tow truck. It's no longer required.
Copy that. Tow truck canceled, officer.
I have a car here that needs towing. Please send a tow truck to my current location. I have a car here that needs towing. Please send a tow truck to my current location.
Next 24 hours. A wrecker will be there in a couple of minutes.
The dress puts itself on Nikki and transports her to another world. In this world, she meets a goddess that looks really cool, by the way, who tells her that she used to know her mother a long time ago, and that now she has to save this world by collecting all the different miracle outfits. So even if you weren't a story player, or someone who necessarily cares about lore, this intro still managed to somehow captivate you, to reel you into this new world that you just found.
Let me know what you saw.
I'm still in shock. I need to get my
typical gacha story. It's original and beautiful, and leaves you with just enough questions to keep going. However, when old players launched the game after the 1.5 update, they were met with this cutscene. It was also sudden, there was no
I'm just taking a sample to see if you've been drinking and driving.
They were met with this new, strange character that they had never met before, talking to them about how they're a goddess or whatever, and then they found themselves doing another tutorial.
Show me your license.
People were wondering what
Okay, officer, there you go.
What's going on here? Well, it turned out that the whole story changed. Okay, it was retcon. That's the term. It was retcon, and everything you've known beforehand didn't matter anymore. There was no dress in the attic. Your mother, who cares about her? You having to save the world? We don't know why. You're just a goddess or whatever, and yeah, just go do you. Like, nothing made sense. Players were absolutely
Put your hands up slowly, please. I'm going to search you.
Didn't make any sense. There are some comparisons, right? You start in the attic in the old one, and the new one you just start somewhere unknown. You have no idea where you're at. Anna, that woman with the white hair that you meet in Chains in the first intro, who was your mother's friend, just appears randomly, like with no cool cutscene or whatever, in the second new intro. This is also without mentioning the fact that it just looked uglier, almost like it was rushed for whatever reason.
I have to.
You're making a big.
Did this to make co-op mode make sense lore-wise, since the new tutorial had an emphasis on different worlds. But seriously, how stupid is that? No one needs lore or a justification as to why you can play with your friend. No one asked for this. There was no one who saw this new tutorial and thought, man, I'm really glad they did this.
I'll let you go.
Fix it, and they just broke it in the process of trying to fix something that didn't need fixing. This is without us going into detail about how they butchered some beloved side characters by retconning the story. One character that was beloved.
I need some back.
Because of course, most of them are female. Is Giovanni, this dreamy-looking
Copy that. The nearest available unit will be sent to your current location.
Much sense anymore, which is wonderful news to make
this is
well documented and exhaustive report. Thank you, officer.
Backup requested to take a.
Copy that. The nearest available unit will be sent to your current location.
You know how the gacha system works. You pull on the banner of the character you want.
Here's your accident report.
That will be buy in the store. You can get really lucky initially and get what you want, or you can get really unlucky,
backup,
but not too unlucky because there's a pity system that limits how lucky.
Understood. The closest available unit will be dispatched to your location.
Extra mile, or if you're rich or just responsible with your money, you can usually pull for the same character multiple
Here's your.
That will be.
Copies that give them more abilities, making them OP as hell. Now, based on how lucky or unlucky.
Everything's fine.
And if we're going to assume that you're only buying the currency, not earning it in game, prices have always varied. But recently, because of pressure
Please.
in the United States, Genshin was forced to show exactly how much a character would cost if you were to be lucky or the unluckiest possible.
Everything's fine. You're good to go. Bye. We're finished here. You're free to go. Have a nice day and take care.
Extremely unlucky, reaching 190 wishes, you would have paid $475.2. Keep that in mind.
I have a vehicle here that needs towing. I need a wrecker at my current location, please.
Sure, it'll be with you shortly.
Usually, a 5-star limited outfit will have around 10 different pieces. So you're going to be wishing a lot, but thankfully, the chances of getting a duplicate are very low. And before the dice system was even introduced, the way you could get different colors for the outfit was to 1. Get the whole outfit, 2. Get 180 wishes, or 3. Get 230 wishes, with each one able to do a different color. Now look, overall, a lot of players collected currency in-game in order to get these outfits, but if you were to do this with money only, with no currency collected in-game, this could amount to close to 600 USD, trying to get all the pieces of an outfit, plus getting all colors, including the 230 wish one. Even compared to other gacha games, this was more expensive on average. So it comes as no surprise that when 1.5 dropped, and the very hyped up...
I have a vehicle here that needs towing. I need a wrecker at my current location, please.
Sure, it will be with you shortly.
Which meant that you had to pull an average of 20 more times in order to get that 11th piece, making the overall banner or outfit acquisition even more expensive than it used to be. This, just like the story getting retconned, came out of nowhere with no prior communication. And speaking of no prior communication, things would only get worse in that regard. You see, the end-game content for Infinity Nikki is called Miracle. Think of it like Infinity Nikki's version of Dress to Impress. You have to come up with different combinations of outfits throughout very specific challenges in order to progress. And once you did, you got currency that you could use to wish on banners. Prior to 1.5, these would reset every 2 weeks, allowing you to get an ample amount of currency twice every month from the in-game content. When 1.5 released, though, people found out that it would take 3 weeks for it to reset as opposed to 2 weeks, making it even harder to get currency without spending money. And you're over here dealing with the fact that there's an 11th piece of an outfit you want. Yeah, it's just been punch after punch to the face, but we're far from being done. The dye system that was so incredibly long awaited was a massive disappointment. Those materials that people spent a very long time farming in preparation for the system were now deemed useless. You now needed a new kind of currency that costs money in order to unlock the colors. And just as you thought that this already sucks, well, it sucks even more.
Kindly cooperate as I...
Please cooperate and come with me to the patrol car.
Piece of
At your
clothing,
service,
which means
officer.
you need to unlock it 11 times. 11 times! So unless you were willing to cough out hundreds of
Can you...
dollars
I don't know.
in currency packs, you could kiss
I'll
that
just...
sweet dream of having a functioning dye system goodbye. This was especially hurtful to the players because much of these colors were named after the fruit materials that were present during the dyeing event. Player trust was being squandered at every second. It was obvious which of these changes were last second. What was going on at Infold for this to happen? Well, a lot of
Yes, officer.
incompetence, but
There you
also
go.
potentially illegal activities. Someone had made a lengthy post on the Infinity Nikki Reddit highlighting the illegal practices that Infold was committing in their game. For example, someone looked into the game files and found that the drop rates for different items in an outfit were not the same, with the most wanted aspects of an outfit like the hairstyle and the dress itself being lower than shoes, socks, and accessories. This is not in any way, shape, or form specified in-game, going against European gambling laws and also American FTC laws.
I will now find...
The
Great.
game had these ridiculous discounts
Don't
on items
resist
that
and
didn't
get
make
into
any
the police
sense.
van.
For example, one item you could buy in 1.5 was a bathtub. And as you can see here, there's a
I'm
discount,
okay.
the original price being 49 euros being sold for previous discounts like this are illegal by the FTC and European.
Please
consumer
cooperate
laws.
for a search
This wasn't
procedure.
just present in Europe. This was present in all regions, and dubious discounts go against all consumer laws, period. People complained heavily about this and threatened legal action, so Infold gave in. They removed the discount, and miraculously, it seems that the final price is $14. Wow. Well, listen, all these things suck so much, but they've been mostly tied to game features and monetization, right? Well, yeah, that's because we haven't talked about one of the biggest issues with 1.5, and that's the fact that it made the game almost unplayable because of bugs, like this one right here. Like, what the hell? This was not present in the game before 1.5. What happened? Or how about this one right here? The floating bike. Like, come on, how does this happen? Someone commented, insane. Another retcon. Nikki now literally a bodiless no-clip entity. I should mention, though, that not all bugs were funny. Some people genuinely couldn't log into the game, and if they did, it would immediately just crash. But there really were a lot of funny bugs. Oh, Nikki's opening a door. Oh, the door teleported. There was even a bug in which the new character that shows up in the new intro doesn't even appear. And the person who posted it said, maybe the best bug in 1.5 version. People hated this new story. Actually, I think it was safe to say that people hated every single aspect of 1.5 and were hoping to go back to 1.4 at this point. It got so bad that they started threatening boycotts on the Infinity Nikki official subreddit.
Have a nice day.
As well as the official Infinity Nikki Discord.
You're good to go.
Couldn't handle
Drive
it.
safe and have a nice day.
To their surprise, though, Infold revealed their true colors and started banning or muting anyone that would say the word boycott. So what did the community do? They started using the word
No,
girl cop. This movement started quickly
fine.
spreading even outside of Infinity Nikki, reaching other games from Infold like Love and Deep Space. It even
You can
got
leave.
reported on by Vice and other publications because the community was doing everything they could to let the world know our game is going through the shitter. But if you thought that only Western players were participating in this girl cot, then you'd be mistaken. Because this even reached the Chinese community, who went all the way to Steam forums to warn new players not to download the game, as you can see from all these posts over here. Bad, 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 everybody don't play. Do not get in, this game makes you unfortunate. This was now a global movement, and they were pissed. And it forced Infinity Nikki to make some sort of a statement. this time, we fell short of expectations. Following the version update, we received a lot of feedback regarding game experience issues, primarily concerning the DIY workshop, co-op feature, and overall game performance, including issues such as login failures, crashes, and resolution problems. We have been carefully collecting each of them, dealing with teams to address these issues. We sincerely apologize for the issues that disrupted Nikki's dazzling journey. Following the patient review by the development team, we have already resolved nearly 1 million issues that gave us the servers and carried out emergency fixes for servers. Moving forward, we will continue to monitor the performance.
We need support. Who's available?
Different issues that they seemingly fixed. Then they go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, saying additional clarifications based on community feedback. Number 1, number of pieces in the 5-star outfits, Snowy Ballet.
This is Patrol 4562. I'm going after the suspect.
The Bubble Season update introduced multiplayer gameplay to create a richer, more engaging adventure for Nikki and all stylists. This idea also shaped the design direction of the new outfits. From the early design stage, we intended the 5-star outfits to embody themes of collaboration and companionship, symbolized by the story of the ever-blazing
We need support. Who's available?
to save the Iceborne mermaid. Thus, we introduced dedicated dynamic effects, transformation animations, and unique music compositions for the
Sorry, I am busy with
Snowy
something.
Ballad, we introduced highly dynamic special effects for the pieces and special aurora effects for the hair. The Crimson Feather outfit was designed around the core concept of rebirth, featuring a unique ash form appearance and different transformation effects depending on whether Nikki is in the air or on the ground. In addition, to align with the theme of the new version, we introduced multiplayer features in the design of both the decoration item and dance move. The Eternal Snowdew decoration now features a special co-op interaction, and for the Everlasting Hope dance move, we attempted to create a co-op dance mode based on the original dance move. Both the versions were developed with dedicated custom music compositions. To enrich styling combinations, the total number of pieces for these outfits was set at 11. We sincerely apologize for the lack of prior communication regarding this adjustment. Moving forward, we guarantee that the number of pieces in 5-star outfits will not exceed 11, and major changes will be communicated in advance through official channels. So look, the majority of this paragraph was just mumbo jumbo. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense to include this. I don't care about your vision for the outfit. People are just concerned about it going from 10 to 11 and costing more, and their logic was because it was meant to be in the spirit of cooperativeness or whatever the hell, or new features. But you have to keep in mind, in one of the outfits, there are 11 pieces, and you can't even see one of the pieces, which are the socks. It's hidden behind the dress. You literally cannot see it. So what's the point? In any case, this was them saying that 11 pieces are here to stay, but hey, we won't increase it unless we let you know in the future. This is kind of hard to believe since they already did it without notifying anyone to begin with. They then say, number 2, duration changes for the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest. To offer a richer and more diverse styling experience, the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest and the special effects are periodically refreshed and updated. As each version varies in duration, the duration of each Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest has also differed accordingly. We have taken note of the community's discussions regarding the contest duration. In response, we are planning to end the current contest at 4 AM on May 16th, with the next contest starting immediately at 4 AM on May 16th. Starting from the next cycle, the Mirror Crown Pinnacle Contest will be held twice a month, starting on the 1st and 16th of each month. So hey, I guess they fixed this, but only because the community spoke up. Otherwise, they would have been completely fine keeping it 3 weeks at a time instead of 2, giving the community less currency to wish on their favorite outfits. They then continue, number 3, DIY Workshop design intentions and future plans. The original intention behind the DIY Workshop was to provide stylists with greater freedom in outfit design and styling combinations. We have received all of your feedback and are carefully reviewing the current designs to further optimize the DIY Workshop experience. In addition,
There's a situation that needs taking care of.
I'll take care of it.
Available?
HP, CL3, mass pipe, extension, and tunnel, H9. HP, CL3, mass pipe, extension, and tunnel, H9. No room for there.
Permission to leave patrol. Stolen traffic. Hold radio traffic unless it's an emergency. Status windshield wipers are on a 4. Hold radio traffic unless it's an emergency.
Could be related. HPCL1, North Dispatch Home, 4568. They have a photo of the alleged suspect.
License check.
Could be related. A PCL2, South Dispatch, a 4, a 5.
License check. Hold radio traffic unless it's an emergency. Status windshield wipers are on a 4.
A PCL1, North Dispatch, A1, ADWU, A3, A6A.
Usually to clear the air for an ongoing event. Usually to clear the air for an ongoing event. Permission to leave patrol.
A PCL1, North Dispatch, A1, ADWU, A3, A6A.
Tow Company X.
Second officer down. Hand grenade.
We have an emergency.
On my way.
Who's available?
No room for there.
Status windshield wipers are on a 4.
A PCL1, North Dispatch, A1, ADWU, A3, A6A.
The filled up with gas is packed. Cars took off to Harbor Square.
For fully evolved outfits, we plan to introduce a more advanced dyeing system in the future, offering expanded customization options and richer visual effects. If you have suggestions regarding the
I've arrived at the scene.
Please feel free to email us at our support number. Every piece of feedback from you is a driving force for us. Your voices guide
Can you
us.
tell me what you...
I didn't see any.
In the future, we will
I haven't-
conduct thorough reviews, strengthen our QA processes, and approach every update to prevent such issues from happening again. As an expression of our heartfelt apologies, we will be distributing the following compensation to all players via in-game mail, which are 10 Revelation crystals, 10 Resonite crystals, and 1,200 diamonds. So 10
Can you-
wishes
Yes.
on the limited banner, 10 wishes on the permanent banner, and 1,200 diamonds for you to buy 10 wishes on whichever banner you want. They then end this by saying, finally, we would like to speak from the
Kindly-
heart. Version 1.5 marks a major milestone for Infinity Nikki. In this version, we took a bold step forward, introducing co-op gameplay for the first time. We hope Nikki's journey can be stretching out further across the vast sea of stars. where
I'll
every
just need to
along
take a
with the
sample.
world can find connection and companionship. Every member of our team shares the same deep love for the Nikki IP and treats every version update with the utmost care and commitment. We stand together with our stylists. We may have yet to build a world that fully
Okay,
reflects your
what's going on?
expectations, but we
Can you
have
hear
never
me?
stopped moving
Well,
forward because to
I have
us,
some
Infinity
pain, but
has always been more
I think
than
I was
just a
lucky.
game. It is a
Okay,
dream
great.
built over 5
We
years
need you
with
to get to
thousands
the
of
ambulance
sections of
anyway for
passion.
further
Like
examination.
we adjusted
Can you
camera
walk on
angles
your
again
own?
and again to capture Nicky's performance,
Yes, I
and
can do
we
that.
shared with joy
I'll go to
the
the
action
ambulance.
outfit. These are not just empty words. We have always held tightly to the original dream and passion, which is to make Infinity Nikki a world worth staying in. It has always been and will always will be our reason for loving this world. Thank you once again for your support. We know that there is still much for us to improve, but because of your companionship, Nikki's journey can continue to push the boundaries of imagination. Please give us one more chance to let Nikki's starlight continue to shine for us all and to keep the warmth in our hearts forever burning bright. Sincerely, the Infinity Nikki Dev Team. So yeah, it was definitely a whole lot of yapping. But unfortunately, even though that last part was very heartwarming, and you kind of do feel bad for the girls because this is how the dice system was clearly supposed to be something you earn in game, but became something you buy with money, or how they intentionally tried to deceive consumers with their dubious discounts. And let's not forget the biggest issue that people had, which was them changing the story for no reason. For many, this apology was lackluster, even if the compensation and apology that you received in the in-game mail was fairly generous. But hey, you know what's funny? Speaking of being generous, there were many players logging in to find that their crystal balance was in the negative, something usually reserved for people.
Let
who
me know
buy
what you saw.
crystals and
I'm
then charge
still
back
in
with their
shock.
credit card in
I
order
need to get my head
pull
right.
a case of fraud. You see, there's this pass that you can buy for $5 that gives you currency every single day. Well, at some point, the game was bugged beyond recognition, and it would count you.
I need to
logging
see
in
your driver's
twice,
license and
something that the
registration,
player had
please.
no control over.
Yeah,
So
sure,
they started
officer.
taking those crystals away. Not to mention, this person might be posting this post saying, "I'm going to cry," spending 20 euros on the game, and then for whatever reason, logging in the next day and seeing that the balance was in the negative, even though they didn't charge back or anything. Speaking of that monthly pass, in order to get the daily currency that you paid for, you have to log in, otherwise you miss out on them whenever you don't. Someone had spent $5 on the pass and wanted to log in order to get the daily currency, but they couldn't because the game was so damn bugged. They sent an email to support, and this is what they had to say. Sorry for the late reply. This inability to log in.
Put your hands up slowly, please.
Is not compensable. Please log in on another device as soon as possible the next time you experience the situation. Thank you for your patience. Bro, I don't know who the hell's training this customer support team, but that is not how you approach the situation. This, of course, was disastrous. People were spending money on the game, couldn't log in because, well, it wasn't their fault.
The reason, please, don't do that.
But don't worry, because a higher up on the support team saw this disastrous response and decided to take things into their own hands, sending another message to this person saying, "Dear stylist, we
I'm not-
noticed that our
Thank you,
previous
officer.
response to your inquiry was incorrect and we apologize for the inconvenience caused to you. Please provide us with your UID, the symptoms of your inability to log in, and the number of days affected. We will further verify the situation and promptly communicate with you on the follow-up situation. Best regards, Infinity Nikki support team." Well, that's cool, right? That's way better than that last response. Way to go, right? Well, 12 hours
I just
later,
need to collect a sample to see if you're
It's
under the
another
influence of
message,
any
and
illegal
it's,
substances.
"Hi, stylist. We have detected that you have not responded for a long time, and this ticket will be automatically closed. If you have any further questions, please initiate a new inquiry. Thank you for your understanding." Total
Tell me what you saw.
unforgivable
I'm still-
chaos in every way,
All right.
shape, and form. And after that first apology, there was nothing else coming from it. Absolute radio silence. Still not happy, mind you, because the apology barely covered half of the grievances they had. But this all changed on May 18th, a bit over 2 weeks since 1.5 came out.
I need to-
And it somehow managed to get...
Sure, officer. Here you go.
On May 18th, Infinity Nikki would put out yet another statement saying, "Dear stylist, this is the Infinity Nikki Dev Team. First and foremost, we sincerely thank you for your
I need to do
unwavering
a search
support
on you
and
to
love
see
for
if you're
Infinity
carrying
Nikki.
anything
Since the launch of
illegal.
Version 1.5, insufficient preparation during pre-release testing led to unexpected live issues, resulting in an unstable game environment and unsatisfactory content. We fully acknowledge that this is our responsibility, and addressing these shortcomings remains a top priority
You're
for
being
our
a
team
what?
moving forward. Additionally, we encountered technical challenges during development that require more time to resolve thoroughly. Following rigorous assessment, we decided to extend version 1.5's end date to ensure greater stability and flexibility. We are deeply aware that these recent issues have impacted your experience and damaged the trust and affection you've placed in us. To all stylists, we offer our deepest apologies. So then they go ahead and outline that version 1.5 is going to end on June 12th, a delay of a few weeks. And then they proceed to say, weekly tasks, Starlit Pursuit, delay notice. After version 1.5 launched, we received extensive feedback on quad features and gameplay. Based on this, we are optimizing related systems and the new weekly tasks, Starlit Pursuit.
I have a car here that needs towing. Please send a tow truck to my current location.
This is an event.
The record has already been dispatched to your location.
This delay allows us to refine task mechanics for a smoother experience. Additional details will be
I'd like to
announced at a later date. Please stay tuned. In light of this change,
Yes, officer.
160 Starlit
There you
crystals
go.
will be given to all players as compensation. That's 3 wishes. Okay? They continue. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to every stylist for your understanding and continued support. Throughout the development journey since launch, we faced a multitude of changes and uncertainty, from optimizing performance across diverse devices with varying capabilities to tackling unexpected technical roadblocks, and many of these hurdles were
You're under a...
No, don't. Please, officer.
We chose to tackle these problems methodically, responding to your expectations only once we had secured concrete solutions. But rest assured, we've heard your feedback loud and clear. The threads of the room and storylines have sense in this version.
Tell me-
I'm still
as removal from the familiar.
Please cooperate peacefully while...
Remains on our development roadmap. Due to technical hurdles in version 1.5, we were unable to properly refine the introduction of the Sea of Stars chapter and the narrative setup for...
You'll take a test to see if you've been driving under the influence of drugs.
Plans are underway to expand tiered cumulative top-up rewards in upcoming versions. New gameplay systems will undergo rigorous design
Let me have a look
to
at...
ensure seamless integration into the open-world experience. and
Here you
global
go,
systems.
officer.
On top of that, adaptation, performance, and stability issues on various platforms, including PlayStation, have been identified and are being resolved systematically. There are also unlisted adjustments under discussion. Some changes require extended development cycles, but we commit to implementing them through phased updates. We will share progress once plans solidify
Please
and milestones are reached. In the meantime, we humbly ask for your continued patience and trust. So finally, around halfway through this paragraph, we got some sort of a confirmation that they're aware that people hate this new intro. But they only were talking about the associated outfit to that original story. And they said, don't worry guys, it's still coming. No mention of the entire story changing and then maybe going back to the old one. They then said, oh yeah, due to technical hurdles, we had to kind of rush this intro. Well, how is that my problem? How about you just don't release it because the old one was perfect in its own way? You didn't need to even do this, especially not to introduce co-op. Who cares? And then my favorite part is that how as soon as they're done talking about what pisses people off the most, this change in story, they say, plans are underway to expand tiered cumulative top-up rewards in upcoming versions. Dude, who asked? Like, who asked? It's like, hey guys, we know you hate the fact that we changed the story. Anyway, if you spend money, you'll be getting more rewards. It's like, I don't care, bitch! How tone deaf is that? They then continue and say, we fully recognize that our current communication efforts may not meet every stylist's expectations. To address this, we are launching a new initiative, the Mirrorland Roundtable, to openly address player concerns and collaboratively explore solutions. We sincerely invite all stylists to share their feedback and suggestions through the following dedicated channels. Your candid feedback, both critical and encouraging, has prompted deeper reflection. Drafting this message stirs mixed emotions, guilt over delayed promises, yet gratitude for your unwavering support. As compensation for version 1.5 shortcomings and schedule changes, all stylists will receive diamonds, as well as energy crystals every day from June 5th to June 12th, totaling 960 diamonds and 8 energy crystals. Thank you for standing with us. Together we'll make Infinity Wiki shine brighter than ever. So, yeah, another non-apology. Pretty much not reassuring players in any way, shape, or form. This whole Mirrorland
Tell me what you saw.
I'm shocked.
Too late. You've already implemented changes that are ridiculous in scope and size without even notifying the community. How are they supposed to trust you with this roundtable now? There are 444 replies to this tweet, and let me tell you, most of them are furious. Because as this comment right here points out, 220 pity not being lowered, barely addressing Retcon's story, no addressing the horrible dying system, no addressing the mirror crown changes, but hey, we got 8 pulls. That was the sentiment in the majority of the community, both global and Chinese. So it didn't really take long. The people who are very big fans of the game painfully chose to uninstall after seeing
sure, officer. Here you go.
Team was. And this once wholesome community, this once very positive and contagiously nice community was just riddled with people who have lost all hope, who were depressed at the fact that this game was never going to be the game they loved just one update ago. It was very sad to see because, as I said in the beginning, in the gacha community,
here's your
as the beacon of hope. The one game that was immune to the very stupid gacha drama that plagues other games
Backup
every
requested.
single day online. And some people were Getting tired of
Copy
people
that.
telling you
Nearest
that they
available unit will be
uninstalled
sent to your
because
current
the posts were
location.
getting that much comment on the Infinity Nikki unofficial Reddit as well as other places online. But why did this happen? Why did this developer shoot themselves in the foot with a goddamn
That'll be very.
when their community loved their game? Well, there are a few theories. Let's talk about them.
I need
As
backup
I
to
pointed
take.
out before, the revenue for this game has just been going down.
Understood.
every
The
single
closest
month,
available
fairly
unit will be
consistently.
dispatched to your location.
Before the game released, the CEO of the studio revealed that Infinity
Here's-
Nikki was being developed by over 1,000 people. Okay, this was a very big team. Of course, this
I need
includes
back-
outsourcers. Not everyone actually works at Infold, but you get the point. This costs a lot
Understood.
of
The
money
closest
to make.
available
So
unit
look,
will be
like this
dispatched
post
to your
on Reddit
location.
explains it. There are many theories here, but if you worked a corporate job before and everything was going well until one of your bosses was replaced with some
I've got a
idiot,
vehicle
this
here for
makes it
towing.
very
Can you send a
fair.
tow truck to my current location?
Maybe a new boss
I have a
is
vehicle here that needs towing. I need a wrecker at my current location, please.
Sure, it'll be with you shortly. That no one ends up liking and they end up screwing up the whole company. This is maybe what's happening at Infold. But interestingly enough, this hasn't stopped them
This
from
is-
actively recruiting in their Shanghai office. And you gotta wonder why.
Have a nice
Maybe
day.
it's for their money printer running
Goodbye.
Deep Space, or maybe because they laid off a lot of Infinity Nikki devs that were originally on the game or replacing them with cheaper labor. Who
At your
knows?
service,
What I do
officer.
know for certain though is that this game was a breath of fresh air in the gacha community. And it made an
Your
important
shift is
segment
over,
of players
officer.
feel like they're finally validated with a game that meant something. Are they going to be able to get a game like that again? Well, I hope so, because they deserve
I have a
it.
car
That's
here
not
that
to
needs
say
towing.
there aren't any
Please send a
players
tow truck
who
to my
hope
current
they
location.
can redeem itself. Those fully
The wrecker has already been
for their sake,
dispatched to
hope
your
that
location.
will be the case. But if you ask my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the video until the end. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is. It should be in a few days from now. I love you so much.
Here's your accident report.
That will be very helpful. Thank you, officer.
All right. All right, you can go now. Drive safe.
If I were to ask you to give me the name of the worst VTuber agency or corporation to have ever existed,
Don't
you'd
resist
probably have a
and
hard
get
time
into the
choosing
police
one
game.
if you've been keeping up with the VTuber
No
industry
choice.
for these last few years. Most likely, though, it will be a choice between
Hey,
two
partner,
agencies in
don't
particular.
resist. Take care of this
The
and get
first
into
one
the-
would be Nijisanji, an agency worth over $1 billion on the Japanese stock market that almost made one of its top talents leave this planet back in 2024 because of how toxic its internal work culture truly was. But then you'd probably think, well, that's really bad, but there's also Vishoja, one of the most respected VTuber agencies who scammed their top talent out of $500,000 she was meant to give to charity. I mean, really, tragically, there's no shortage of examples of this. But what if I told you that both of these answers are wrong? What if I told you that there was a VTuber agency out there that was worse than these two combined? An agency so scummy they would manage to lose 40 of their talents within less than a year. An agency so disgusting they would send warriors after your fans if they had something negative to say about them. And an agency so unforgivable they would publish your social security number for everyone to see on their own Twitter account just because they want to. These events actually did happen, but they weren't even half of the depraved acts they would pull. And recently, they set a very dangerous precedent, not just for this industry, but for any entertainment industry in general, by pursuing some of these ex-talents in international courts outside of Japan. Guys, my jaw was on the floor researching this video, and seeing that this agency not only still managed to exist in this day, but is still being very concerningly dangerous, I thought that we
Hold radio
had
traffic unless
to
it's an
talk about it.
emergency.
So, you already know the drill. Let's do this. Right after the sponsor. A special occasion is something that deserves to be celebrated, like a birthday, your sibling having a child, or Etheria Restart launching Global Fest on September 25th. That's why they'll be giving out 10 free polls with the code Etheria0925, a 7-day check-in event, and a free SSR selector where you can choose your favorite SSR character instantly. But that's not all. If you're a returning player, you'll get double drops on materials, a return banner that guarantees you an SSR character that you select, and so much more, like 14 days full of rewards. You'll need these rewards because there's going to be 2 new SSR characters that look incredible, a new limited skin, and of course a fresh real-time arena season that includes a new Hyperlinker Cup. The game's really going all out here by even partnering up with some of the top Chinese pro gamers. So if that all sounds good to you, then make sure to check the link in the description or the pinned comment and get a Theory Restart on either mobile or PC today. Thank you, Theory Restart, for sponsoring this video. Alright, so Wachter would unofficially begin